have been conditioned to believe you have to be a certain way to make people like you. But if you be a certain way to make people like you, you will have people liking the fake thing you are showing them and not who you truly are. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing some advice for women on dating, because I feel that when it comes to dating, when it comes to pretty much everything, but when it comes to dating, there are so many things we need to decondition from our beliefs and mindset surrounding dating, because especially when it comes to women, we have been conditioned to value being liked and approved of by people, and especially men, over being and showing who we truly are. And being and showing who we truly are is actually required. It is a prerequisite to ending up with somebody who is actually in alignment with who we truly are. Because we cannot find or even attract somebody who is in alignment with who we truly are unless we are being it, owning it, and actually showing it to the world, and especially when we are dating. We have been conditioned to believe that so many things about us are not acceptable and are not attractive to men. And this is perpetuated by things like the makeup industry and the clothing industry. And something that is never told or spoken about is that there is nothing more magnetic and sexy than a woman who is completely owning unapologetically who she truly is. The most sexy and magnetic power comes from unapologetically owning who you are, regardless of whether or not you fit into the stereotype of attractive that we have been conditioned with. And the reason we have been conditioned with this very rigid idea of what sexy and attractive is because when you have women conditioned with this very rigid idea, this very unrealistic idea, this very unrealistic perception of how we should look and be, you keep women in a disempowered state. You keep women in a place of insecurity and not accepting who they truly are, which is the key to becoming empowered and actually finding somebody who is in alignment with who you truly are. Holding back who we truly are, i.e., things that are a massive part of who we are, for fear that they will not be accepted and that we will be rejected because of them, is the fastest way to end up with people who are not in alignment with who you truly are, because you cannot end up with somebody who is in alignment with who you truly are if you are showing them something that is not who you truly are. And if you are holding back things that are a huge part of who you are showing them essentially something false. You are showing them a watered down version of you, not the real you. And so this is the version of you they will develop feelings for, because that's the version of you are connecting with. And this is how we end up in connections where we are essentially having to hide from somebody that we are in a relationship with. This happened to me especially with friendships when I was a lot younger. I've mentioned before on my main channel how I used to hold back the fact that I am obviously an incredibly spiritual person, because I knew people judged it. I knew that people would not accept that about me. So I held it back. When I was with my friends, I refused to speak about these things. And the thing is, these things, the fact that I'm so spiritual, is an absolutely massive part of who I am. It is the lens through which I see literally everything. It's who I am, and I was holding it back from these people who I was in relationships with. And eventually I took a look at my life and I realized that I had so many relationships with people who did not even know who I am. The only way to find people who are in alignment with who you truly are and are in alignment with what you want and need as an individual is to be honest about who you are. If you are not showing who you truly are, you cannot attract somebody who is in alignment with that because they are not even seeing it. And this means showing the parts of ourselves we may have been conditioned to believe are unacceptable and are going to get us rejected. But the truth is, you will not be rejected by somebody who is right for you. If somebody rejects you, it is because they are not in alignment with who you truly are. So you can't lose, but you fear you will lose because you have been conditioned to believe you have to be a certain way to make people like you. But if you be a certain way to make people like you, you will have people liking the fake thing you are showing them and not who you truly are. And that is not what you want deep down. You want somebody who knows who you truly are and accepts it because they are actually in alignment with it. I actually grew up being judged and bullied and criticized and called weird for being spiritual and coming from a spiritual family and being a kind of alternative person. And so because I grew up dealing with that, when I became an adult, I kind of had this belief that I would be judged and rejected if I showed those parts of myself. And this is kind of what led to me holding back these huge things about who I am in my relationships. And this is obviously what led to me having relationships that were not connected to who I truly am at all. And I learned through direct experience that the only way to create relationships and even things, just general things in your life, experiences, is to be honest about who you are. And at first, that can be very uncomfortable. It was very uncomfortable for me when I started being very honest about who I truly am and the things I'm truly interested in. It was very uncomfortable when I started being honest with people who I was already in relationships with about the fact that I'm incredibly spiritual. It was very uncomfortable, but something magical comes from that energy because the energy is real. It's raw, it's powerful, it's you being who you truly are. That is incredibly powerful. The universe recognizes that when you do that by being your true self. It puts you in alignment with your destiny. It puts you in alignment with everything that is actually meant for you, because in order to be in alignment with everything that is meant for you, you have to start being who you truly are. So when I did that, people started coming to me who are a part of my soul journey, people who are actually connected to who I truly am. It's the only way to achieve wholesome relationships that are truly connected to who you are and your soul. Many people don't realize that if you hide who you truly are from somebody while you're dating them, you are going to end up in a relationship with somebody that you essentially have to continue hiding from. Because the second you start showing those things who you truly are, they are likely going to realize you are not actually in alignment with each other. And you do not want to be in a relationship with somebody you have to hide from. So don't hide in the beginning. When I go on a date with someone, you best believe I am going to be talking about psychic shit. I'm going to be talking about it. Why am I going to be talking about it? Because a guy who looks at me like I'm a fucking alien is not my guy. He's not my guy. I cannot get into a relationship with somebody who down the line realizes I'm into this stuff and looks at me like I'm a psycho. I cannot put myself in that situation because I want something wholesome and real. So I need to be wholesome and real in the beginning, okay? You don't want to be with somebody you have to hide from. Now, when I made the decision to actually start being completely honest about who I was and owning it and never watering it down or hiding it for anybody, two things happened. Many people left my life, and that was an absolute blessing because they were the people who had never been in alignment with who I truly am. And so now they were leaving because they were now seeing who I truly am, and so we were both realizing we are not in alignment with each other. And the second thing that happened was that people who truly were in alignment with who I actually was came into my life, because this was now the signal I was broadcasting to everyone. I was saying openly, this is who I am. And so when we do this, people who are not in alignment with what they are seeing from us obviously are repelled. And likewise, people who are looking at you and seeing that they relate to who you are, they resonate with who you are, they come into your life because this is now what you are showing to the world. And especially women, we have, like I said at the beginning, we've got this conditioning that's perpetuated by many things in society that tells us that we have to be a certain way to be attractive, completely overlooking the fact that all of the power is in showing and owning who you truly are. Number one, it's the only way to find somebody who is actually in alignment with that. And number two, there is nothing more powerful and sexy and magnetic than somebody owning who they truly are and not giving a fuck what anybody thinks. There is nothing more attractive than that in a man or a woman. But women have been conditioned with this good girl conditioning. No mention of being who we truly are. No mention of being real. Just be this stereotype so that you are accepted. And yes, it may be difficult at times, especially, we all experience these times where we meet somebody, and it doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. It could be in any situation, and you just meet somebody and you just know this is not somebody who is going to resonate with who I am. I meet people sometimes and I can just tell that they don't resonate with anything spiritual, you know? I can just tell if I said something spiritual in front of them, they would not resonate with it and they'd probably look at me like I'm crazy. And in these situations, we often feel the urge to repress these things and or hide or water down these things so that we don't create this kind of contrast with this other person. But in those moments, I want you to just take a moment, even if it means you go into the bathroom and just look in the mirror. And I want you to take a moment and look at yourself in the mirror and remind yourself of the love and respect that you have for yourself. Remind yourself of what hiding who you truly are leads to. Remind yourself that you do not want people in your life who think you are somebody who you are not, because you will continuously feel pressure in those relationships to hide who you are, and that is not a relationship you want. Whether it's romantic or friendship, you do not want people in your life you have to hide from. So when you feel the urge to hide, take yourself into the bathroom, look in the goddamn mirror, and remember the love and respect you have for yourself, and remind yourself that you are never going to disregard yourself ever again just to maintain a connection that is not even in alignment with who you truly are. You will not have to hide who you truly are from somebody who is right for you. Any person who you have to hide your true self from is not in alignment with your true self. And the only way to know if they're in alignment with your true self is by being your true self. And if you have a fear that you cannot receive somebody who is in alignment with who you truly are, if you have a fear that it doesn't exist, if you have this fear that a person who is in alignment with who you truly are is not out there, just remember that when you are being your true self, that is the energy you are putting out to the universe. And the energy you put out to the universe is the energy you get back. It is the energy you manifest. So when we begin embodying who we truly are, we broadcast that truth, that energy out to the universe, and we therefore receive in return people and experiences that are actually in alignment with that energy, okay? So if you want to manifest a partner who is in alignment with who you truly are, you have to be who you truly are and understand the power of doing that. And although I'm directing this advice to people who are single and looking for their person, this does also apply to people who are already in relationships, because something that I've noticed is that even if you have got yourself into a relationship where you've been hiding certain things about yourself for fear of being judged or rejected, many times when we then step into owning who we really are and showing who we really are, sometimes we discover that the people who we have connections with, who we've been hiding from, they have often been doing the same things. I had a few friends who, when I started owning who I truly am and being honest about it, me doing that actually liberated them and gave them the courage to also be honest about sometimes the same things that they had also been too afraid to show for fear of being rejected. So sometimes people around us are actually doing the same thing we are. But like I said, the only way to know if somebody's really in alignment with who you truly are is to own and embody and be and show who you truly are. It's the only way to know. Just remember that all of this conditioning telling us that we need to fit into these stereotypes in order to be attractive and accepted, just remember that not only does believing in that and acting upon that lead you into relationships that are not in alignment with who you truly are, but it also overlooks the fact that the most powerful and sexy thing, the most magnetic thing to men and women is somebody who is owning, showing unapologetically who they truly are. That is an incredibly sexy and magnetic energy, because it literally magnetizes everything that is in alignment with it, okay? So just remember that when you are thinking about dating, okay? Now, I will be sharing more advice on dating, so if you have any questions about these subjects, let me know in the comments section, because I will be doing more videos on dating, because I feel it's really an area we need to decondition ourselves with so that we end up with people who we have true connections with. So in my next video, I will be going into the power of enjoying being alone and being okay alone, because that makes you an incredibly powerful person who has no reason to accept less than what they actually want. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.